own conductive glue, which is probably better than the stuff I have, which is very watery. Next thing, lily pads and associated components. I also hate these things, but they have to be mentioned, really. I mean, you can't get through a talk like this and not have them be mentioned. They are adorable, to say the least. They're all really brilliantly designed. I just don't like them because conductive thread makes them difficult to work with. Wait, I can show you how difficult it was. This is a project I made. It's actually this jacket. I ended up taking this out. I made a huge mess. I couldn't get the thread to stick, so it's now covered in crazy glue and probably doesn't work. Anyway, these were invented by Leah Buckley, specifically for conductive threads and soft circuits. It's ringed by these wee little holes, and they're conductive all the way through. You can still solder to them, but I really wouldn't recommend it. And the great thing is that you just program it with your regular Arduino software, because all it is a really adorable little Arduino that you can sew into things. Yes, there's some great associated components. My favorite is this tiny switch. It is so small. I love it. And the sewable battery packs are great too, but there's also accelerometers, vibration pads, kind of anything you'd need comes in sewable form now, which is brilliant. This thing is not a tutorial on how to make your own, I'm sorry. It's a component circuit layout tool. It will only cover your Lilypad components though, so if you want to put in LEDs or a battery pack or anything, you can't do it, but you can lay out your Lilypad components, which is pretty cool. Okay, I made two projects specifically to show you fine folks. I'm wearing one of them and have one of them here, but I also have slides. Whew. And they're really fun to build, so this is the part of the talk where I talk about the stuff I made. Here we go. This is the first project I finished. I finished this about a month ago. It's been on Hackaday and Make and a bunch of other places, which was a huge honor. I was very excited, especially considering how extremely basic this is. I call it a fabric light bright, but I will seriously build one and send one to anyone who can come up with a wittier name than me. I mean it. Okay. Yeah, I'm desperate for one. In a way, it's a lot like a fabric breadboard, but there's definitely limitations regarding that. So if you really want a fabric breadboard, again, pluginware.com has one. I'm not advertising for them. I just found out about this. They only started stocking it about 2 days ago, so now you know. This is how I actually wanted to build it the first time around. I guess I'll get into the sewing part in a second, but this is a Husqvarna Viking embroidery machine. It costs about $2,300, and you can literally take a USB key of any image you want, plug it in there, and it will embroider it for you in the colors you want. It's amazing. And so our idea, and we've started working a little bit with a Husqvarna company, but barely, so pardon my lack of pictures, is to start making printed circuit boards using conductive thread and the Husqvarna machine. I share this idea with you because if any of you have access to this kind of machine, please, for the love of God, make me a printed circuit board out of conductive thread and show me. I will love you forever. Okay, anywho, I made it in the first place so that I wouldn't have to do wiring for every little LED imager word I wanted to do. Individually addressing LEDs is a problem for me. If you're more ambitious than me, you can hook up other stuff to this. I've just been using LEDs. It was a way to get away from the staticness and permanence of other soft circuits that happen. So anyway, again, luckily, so criminally easy, you could make it in about an hour. Mine took a long time because I was stupid and hand embroidered it. Don't make my mistake. The only possible advantage to hand embroidering is that you could make pretty conductive pictures or something, like leaves or birds or whatever. You pick. Otherwise, use a sewing machine. You'd save yourself like days of tedious work. Takes forever. I'm going to give you a basic idea of how to make it. I'll try to be quick about it so we can get on to the other stuff. But to build it, first you need to sew a continuous line up and down, like that. Okay, use the zigzag stitch. It's wide, it's fancy. You want to make it about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 inch apart, which is about 0.65 centimeters to 1.25 centimeters for all you metric folks. you'll notice that your thread, your needle will not fit your thread, and your spool will be too massively gigantic to fit on your sewing machine. It's a bit of an issue. So this is what you do to get around that. This is the only way to use a sewing machine. Well, it's not. You might have a sewing machine that fits it for some strange reason. But really, this is the only way to use a sewing machine with conductive thread. It's called bobbin work. It is essentially sewing upside down. You want to thread your bobbin with your thick conductive thread, stick it in there, and sew normally. Done and done. It's great. It works for ribbon, kind of anything. It's fantastic. Love it. Anyway, that URL will send you where to go. We've got the pretty little diagram. Yep. Okay, once you've got your lines sewn, kind of in the similar fashion of mine, but probably far neater, you want to get a couple strips of conductive fabric, sew them over the top and the bottom. You get minimal resistance that way. Voltage is all spread out. Then you want to sandwich a piece of conductive fabric that is the same size as your first part, and then one that's regular fabric in between, and sew those together. And it should be noted now, I suppose, yeah, that the bottom part, the conductive fabric, is working as your ground, and the conductive thread is working as your positive, in case you didn't notice. This is actually a lot of fun. Yeah, make sure they never touch or you'll short your circuit. That's not a good thing. Grab 3 AA batteries and 3 AA battery pack. You want longish leads. And then you're just going to take one of the leads and you're going to poke it in between your conductive thread and bend it around. That's your positive lead. Done. You're going to do the same thing for your ground fabric with your ground lead. Done. This is a very impermanent way of powering it, but you can make it permanent, which I'll talk about. At this point, you're going to stick some LEDs through it. This is my funny little diagram for how to do that. I curl one end of my LED, which is actually taken from Leah Buckley's idea for that. And then I sharpen the other one with snippers so it'll go through faster. And go ahead and test it. Does it work? Huzzah! Wonderful. This is actually a picture from when I realized that mine would work, and I went crazy and screamed at everyone in my hackerspace. Once you're done with that, you're welcome to go ahead and solder your ground lead to the back. Let me see. Yeah, if this has been really vague, I have a PDF up on Pumping Station 1. Again, this will be linked to SlideShare so you can find it. But I make this really kind of fun by usually strapping these to bags or jackets. That way you can have blinky bags and jackets. And I have a little switch on mine, so my hookup is permanent because I have one of those really adorable tiny Lilypad switches. Love them. Okay, second project was a pain in my butt. I can't say curse words, can I? But pain in my butt for weeks. Nope. Okay, this is the jacket I'm wearing that's up here. It was made out of my old jacket, and it took a while. I actually hand embroidered PS1's old logo in the back and on the side, like right here, which took me a very long time. And I settled down thinking that that was plenty of work. Turns out it's not, my friends say to me. Eli, you should put some LEDs in it. Fantastic idea, I'll do that. Eli, you should attach a lily pad to your jacket and make your LEDs change patterns. Fantastic, I'll do that. Eli, you should put flex resistors into your jacket so that that will control the pattern changes that your lily pad is controlling. And thus did it get epically complicated. I made a mistake. I decided I wanted a lot of LEDs. Don't do this. I curled 96 LEDs. I made both sides exactly the same so I couldn't figure out what was positive and what was ground. I actually have a whole bunch of those with me if anyone wants one of my failed LEDs, but I was really freaked out. I thought I was going to have to multimeter them all individually, but no, my friend Jordan made me this nifty thing. Very useful. All it is some coin cells, a couple sensors, and a positive and negative telling me what side is which so I can sew it down. Problem solved. No, problem not solved. I started attaching conductive thread to the ground side only and then realized that this would be a very, very complicated circuit. Circuit plus that image equals does not work. Does not work. I used 3 layers of fabric to complete it originally, going off the basic idea of this, so ground sewn down, regular fabric, layer of conductive thread attached to my positives. That didn't work very well. There were probably still lines crossing. I checked it with a multimeter, and then I tried to program it, and then I gave it a whole bunch of juice, and it all failed to make more than one LED light up. I did it twice. Twice, and I tore it apart each and every time. That's carnage right there. That's a month of work. It was very sad for me. I did it twice, gold darn it, and I was devastated. Luckily for me, though, the same guy who made me my nifty thing, Jordan, he took pity on me and sat down with me and said, Eli,